Hi, I'm Scott, your SKS video guy, and this is a camera bow. And today we're going to show you how to make one. So, why do you need one of these things? Okay, well, up until this point, we've been using these larger, heavier cameras that sit on your shoulder, and they're pretty well stabilized by themselves. However, the newer cameras, they're handheld. So when you're trying to film something moving around, well, it kind of bobbles around a bit, and it's really hard to keep them stable. So this item here allows you to put it on your shoulder, mount the camera onto here. You have a pistol grip here to hold it, and your side hand goes here so you can work your zoom, start and stop, and your finger can use to adjust your focus on it. That makes it a whole lot more stable like that. So, okay, you say, well, why don't we just buy one of these online? Well, I couldn't find one. I personally bought this one about 25 years ago, and they don't make this exact one anymore. What they do make right now are two-handle gripped ones as well. And I do a similar item, but the problem is the controls are not down here where your hands are. So you have to kind of reach up to do that. Okay, you can buy these accessory items that will bring the controls down to the pistol grips, but that adds a lot of expense to this. This is about 40 bucks, so it's relatively cheap. Okay. Yes, you can get those online, but again, that's why we're going to make this today. Now, what are we going to need to make this? All right. A lot of this stuff, in fact, most of it, you can get at your local hardware store. Lowe's, Home Depot, that kind of stuff. You can also order things like this online. We start off with a 3/4 inch wooden dowel. We drill a hole through it, which is 1/4 inch. We have a 1/4 3-inch long bolt, 2 flat washers, lock washer, and a nut. And that's going to mount this onto the bottom for your handle. We're going to have a mounting swedge that you're going to go through to mount your camera to, and these are again in the hardware specialty section where the drawers are, or you can find them online. This one's a 1/4 but you can also, if your camera uses a different type thread, you can use, adjust that to, they have them in different sizes for that. This is a bicycle handle grip with some swedgings that you can lock it onto that'll fit over top of this to lock it on. Again, this is available online, fairly inexpensive. You have a piece of rubber that we're going to put on the top of here so we keep the camera from moving around. We have a piece of foam hard rubber that we're going to use for our shoulder brace there. And the main item that we're going to use is this long piece of metal here, which is 1/8 inches thick. It's 1.5 inches wide and 36 inches long, which we'll trim down to make the adjustment of how long this is going to be. Technically, this whole piece right here, if you measure it the whole way around, is only 31 inches. So we have an extra few inches, about 5 inches out here, that we can cut off if need be. But what we're going to do is we're going to pre-drill all the holes ahead of time here, so that when we bend this, it cuts down on a lot of drillings of holes and things like that there. So this is all the things you're going to need. Let's get started. The first thing that we want to do is we want to mark out where our holes and slots are going to be on the metal itself. Now I've taken the original one here and I've measured from the part where it attaches to the bow forward to where that slot begins. That is measured out and it comes out to 5¼ inches where it starts. The slot itself is 3¼ inches long and is about 1/4 inch wide. Now you'll have to adjust the width of that according to the bolt that fits your camera. From that point back to where this hole is for your pistol grip, when it curves around, that length there is an additional 2¾ inches to that point. Then if you continue on, if you were to measure from here around to the bottom of the bow, where your mount is for your tripod, that's an additional 3¼ inches from there back. Now I've marked these on here and I've center punched each one. Our next step is to take it, put it onto the drill press. We're going to drill these holes out for the appropriate size holes for our bolts, tap the items that need to be tapped, and we're going to cut this slot out here later, and that's our next step. Start by drilling the 2 holes for the slot. Next, drill the hole for the handle mounting bolt. Then cut out the slot using a cutter wheel. Then clean up the edges with a file. Check the slot to be sure the threads of your clamping knob fit through it. Drill the last hole out, then tap it to fit the mounting bolt on your tripod. Now that we've cut and drilled our slots and tapped everything, Next is we're going to bend it. So what I did was I measured the original one and found out where the bend points are, and I marked them on the metal here where we need to bend the metal to make the bow. Line the bend marks up in your vise and begin bending the metal. The front part, where your handle attaches, is set at a 45-degree angle. The distance between the lower plate and the upper plate is 2.5 inches. Use a Dremel tool or a hacksaw to remove the excess threads from your clamping knob. The last step in the fabricating process is we're going to weld the top of the bow to the back part of the bow. So, let's start and do that. Use some acetone to remove any oils, then give it a couple coats of nice black paint. Now that the paint is dried, we want to attach our foam rubber for our shoulder mount and our rubber pad for our camera. We've already cut the slot out to allow for the clamping knob to go up inside there. We're also cut it a little bit larger to allow for a C-clip that will hold the clamping knob in place and won't have it fall out. So now, all to do is apply a little spray adhesive on it. This is 3M77. So let's spray a little of that on there and get it attached. Mask off the areas you don't want to get any spray adhesive on. You can also use a brush-on adhesive. Once the spray adhesive has dried for a few minutes, carefully align and attach the rubber pieces. Be careful, once these pieces touch, it's difficult to get them back apart again. Next, we install a 3-inch ¼ bolt through the front hole. We drilled a 1/4-inch hole through the center of our dowel. We're going to attach that, put a washer on there. We have a washer on the front here as well. Put the washer on, a lock washer on, and the nut, and we'll tighten that down. We're going to put a retainer clip on, a ring on here. We're going to slide the handle on, attach it into the ring. Using an Allen wrench, we'll tighten these down and clamp this in place. Lastly, we're going to put our clamping knob up through so that we can clamp our camera in. We're going to attach an E-clip in there to hold that in place. And that's a simple just clip on, like this, and that'll hold it from falling out. Like that. Now it's in there and will come out and you can screw your camera to it. So there you have it. We made our own camera bow. I mean, right here it is. It's not an identical match to it, but it's really doggone close. We adjusted a little bit more here to fit our own shoulders and stuff. But hey, look at this. Right up on there does exactly what the other one does perfectly. I like the angle of this. You can hold it steadily. Worked out really nice. Now, we welded ours together in the back here. If you don't have access to a welder, simply just add an extra inch to that and flap it up here, drill a hole through it, and put a bolt here to hold it in place. That's all you have to do with that one. Or pop rivet, whatever you've got. But hey, for the amount I paid for this, which is $45 I paid for this back when I bought it new, for less than $20 or less than half that, we made this one. So we're going to put links in the description for as much as this we can have, but most all this stuff we got at Home Depot. We got the metal there, we got this rubber matting and all that, we got all the hardware and everything. The only thing we didn't get there was this rubber foam, and we'll put a link of where that is. And this little handle here as well in the front. We didn't get that, that's just a bicycle grip. Again, you can get that online as well. But this little clamping knob here and everything, and little E-clips and all that stuff we right there, simple. Most of the tools we use here were inexpensive Harbor Freight tools that most people have around their shop. So hey, it's something you can do in your spare time. We did it a few hours here. So, if you like what you see, hit that like button. Mash the subscribe button. Hit that bell if you want to be notified of our future videos. And hey, we'll see you around. And in the meantime, keep inventing.